to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Hicks, would you be kind enough to lead us in prayer?
Gladly. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, in the name of Jesus, we do pray that this day, Lord, we would bring glory to your name in all that we do and all that we say. Father, give us the spirit to be, as the motto of Rotary is, that we would do good and do service and kindness and do good deeds. Father, we ask that this meeting would go according to your will, that you be glorified and uplifted. We thank you for this time. Thank you for everybody who came. We ask that you bless everybody, restore their energy and invigorate them, and encourage them for their diligence and faithfulness. And we ask that you just bless our new president as she steps forward in her new role. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.
Yes, please come back. So, as far as sunshine this morning, last April, I was supposed to be able to do an honor flight with a World War II veteran that's from Hickory, and thank you, COVID, we didn't get to do that. However, we are on for September the 18th.
Also good.
So I will be taking Mr. Setzer that Saturday. On the 11th, September 11th, we'll go up and do whatever orientation we have to do at Asheville Airport. And then we will go on the 18th for that flight. So super stoked about that. Yay. Other good news from the group.
Did we have, I know we didn't have a lot of last year.
We're going to in March.
In March, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it'll be an in-person unless strange things happen. And we have monies still held for 2 children, 2 students. Now the 2 that initially were going to go are college students now, so they would be eligible. So we'll have to find 2 new high school age kids, preferably sophomore, junior, or senior. So we'll just have to kind of look for that. And since I've retired, I've lost a little bit of that contact, but I'm sure we can still come up with 2. Okay. All right. So we need to be thinking about for next March. Yeah.
And Rick,
Oh,
I read the email, and now I understand Katie's going to sponsor us on the campus of Little Rhine. So they have not yet released.
No. I communicated with Justice, who is the contact for us now for scheduling, and she accepted all the paperwork I sent in. She accepted Katie, and she said she would let us know. I had to put a date, starting date for us, and I put September 8th, I think it was the second Wednesday, figuring by then we would know. She said, if it's sooner than that, I'll let you know. If it's later, I'll let you know. But we're in the schedule anyway. It's just LR has to open it up for outside people.
So with that conversation in mind, just to kind of carry this one step further, we have not, with COVID, been meeting weekly. My assumption is that once we can get back on LR's campus, that we would go back to weekly if that's what the club desires. I think the way I understand Rotary is that you are supposed to meet weekly. COVID made everything different. So would it be the desire of the group to go back to our weekly 7 a.m. meetings once we can get back into LR?
yeah, if we don't, we need to make sure we post with the district and the RI when we are meeting.
Right.
Because there is an obligation to make sure that when they put it out on the World Wide Web, that somebody who wants to join us knows where to find us when.
Okay.
And I also, the schedule I made up and sent out to everybody starts as weekly in September.
Right. I just wanted, we had talked about it But I wanted to have that conversation with the group so that it wasn't a big decision.
Hey, as far as RILA goes, the question about getting students for RILA, you need to explain what the new format is. It's not a week-long, because we lost candidates 4, 5, 6 years ago because they couldn't go for the week because of football training, but
It's a long weekend. It's a
what, Thursday through
I was
Sunday?
gonna say, I took them up Thursday afternoon, so it was like Thursday evening through Sunday morning. So they're not doing the full week because kids have so many other opportunities now that you can't, they've got every camp under the sun, and you can't get kids to commit to the whole week anymore. So we had good attendance 2 years ago when we did it with that format. And my understanding is that we'll still do it in Asheville at the YMCA's campus. In fact, Mike Stevenson had asked to come and do a program for us about it.
Oh, good.
So I may let him do that, although I don't know that, I mean, I've done RILA and can probably speak semi-intelligently about it. And I'm on the committee to, bring that back post-COVID. So we will have a meeting about it either with Mike or myself.
Well, not only that, but it gives Gavin something to put in the local news, significant outsiders coming to work the club.
The 28th of July is when the district governor is coming. They do know that we're under the sales, that we're not at LR. I will remind them of that. There's the whole hoorah, he doesn't want to sit at a head table. Okay, well that check, we don't have a head table, so that works. And so we'll do the introductions and so forth, yes.
That's Wednesday morning, and the farmer's market has taken over that area on Wednesdays. I don't know what time they start.
Not until 10, until they ring that stupid bell. You can't buy anything until 10 o'clock.
But there are very few tables in that area anymore. They are supposed to move the tables back when they finish, and they haven't been doing that. And our veterans group has taken the meeting on the stage area, right near the bathrooms.
Right. That's what we meant.
That's where we've been meeting too, the last 3 times.
That would probably be the best place for us to meet.
And also understand that we don't have to wait for LR to open up to meet weekly. My place is always available. So just keep that in mind. If that's somewhere you want the district governor to come, then just...
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, because if it's raining that day, or it's... Just let me know.
That may be a better plan.
I would second that. I think that's a great idea.
I think that's a better plan.
And the bathroom connection can always be a backup to your plan.
We've got to make sure we send him a map so he doesn't get lost. He's not from around here.
Right.
So do you want me to go ahead and secure...
If you would be willing to do that,
Well,
let's do
we were
that.
up at the Workforce Solution Complex, the big one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do that.
That's the 28th?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Because
Set that on the conference.
you might also be able to give him a tour
Sure.
of that place. That would be a nice thing for the DD.
Yeah, that's it.
At least while I'm still there.
Yeah.
That's only a few weeks away. We better decide now, for sure.
Right. So is that the consensus of the group to do it at CDCC and the Workforce Development Center?
Yes.
Okay, all right, we'll do that.
I'm going to see if the Workforce Solution is not available, we have enough other places around, but I will, when I get to the office, I will.
And then will you text me or call me, and then at that point, I will communicate that
To Ken.
Yes, actually, I'll text my assistant right down that person, and she can get right back.
All right, thank you.
Is it the pleasure of the club for the Sergeant at Arms to continue the tradition of finding the district governor?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure some of them, he talks a lot. So, I mean, you can find him for excessive words.
$10.
$10. $10. Too many words. And my only experience with him at this point has been the Zoom training things that were very repetitive because we had a pre-pets training and then we had pets and everything he said pre-pets training, he said again in pets. And I'm like, why do we do this way?
Reinforcement.
I guess so. And so I got an email yesterday that said that for the district, last year, we were up, membership was up 20% during COVID. So I thought that was pretty impressive that membership for the district had gone up in COVID. So that was kind of cool. Other information for the group.
Madam President, I'd like to again say that we had a wonderful time at the party, end of the year party. I'd like to again thank Dr. Floyd and her husband in their home.
She's on call today. She emailed me back and said she was on call with it this morning. Anything else for the report? Well, I'm going to let Donald talk a little bit about his camp because I don't know the history of it and how this came to be, etc.
Before he gets started, I'd like to have everyone know that I'm getting married Saturday at 5 o'clock at Christ Lutheran Church. And if you're so inclined to attend, we'd be glad to have you, and there's going to be a reception following. So, got to call, I have to go to Martin Maine today and pay for everything, so.
So let me know.
And so I need, they let me know today, so I make sure I have enough for everyone.
Jim got it approved, right?
Hey, don't tell him. Jim's going to work on it.
Patty, fiance, her sister died in her sleep night before last. Wow.
She's the last.
Yesterday morning, her husband got up and followed the routine and beyond. He made the coffee, then went back to wake her up, and he didn't wake up, and he put her in a nice cold.
The tradition of over-fighting will continue.
Of course, when the undertaker came,
I figured we would skip it
there was
today.
only one guy,
That's not enough.
so I had to help with the
We never send one, we always send those two. We had to pick one up a couple of weeks ago. Very, very large gentleman, and he lived by himself, he came in his bathtub with the water running for 2 weeks. Because he lived by himself and nobody even checking on him. Check on your people. Don't let him sit in the bathtub for 2 weeks. It's horrible.
Hey, I think you ought to give Jim a standing ovation.
Jim's gonna be doing the next slide.
Hey, Rick.
Jim, see, I got you. What you mean, big game? Get out of here.
You know what you will get into. You stepped into it.
That's true.
Yeah.
If you didn't know, by now you had enough warnings.
Absolutely.
So I'm proud for you.
Absolutely.
Hey, thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate you coming and supporting the efforts that Classroom Hicks and the basketball camp. A little bit of history about the camp. In prior to 2002, 2002 and 16 years prior or so, I was a volunteer coach at Christian Athletic Association over at Concordia Church. I was a volunteer coach, boys and girls, for 16 years. And I did not know the drill when I started. And the drill was that on a certain night, all the people who had been coaches, you okay? You got a question? Hand was up. Oh, you. No. Anyway, all the people who had been coaches, this was the drill. who had been coaches, they would meet. And they would decide who they wanted on their team. Okay? And if they did not know the child, they would go for age. I had to figure this out. They would go for age and size. Okay? So when I came, and they said, Donald, thank you for being volunteered to be a coach. I had kids that weren't as tall as this podium on my team to play against people like this. Okay? So I didn't know the drill. First year, all I knew we could teach, because none of them could make a basket. I taught defense. And I taught how to block out and all this. We did not win a single game that year, but nobody wanted to play us. Because we played by the rules, and they won because our guys couldn't make a basket, but they had to work for every basket they got. So they didn't want to play us. Finally, I learned the drill.
Sounds like Monty Towel.
Huh?
Sounds like Monty Towel performance.
Well,
He used to be just on.
yeah. Well, that's what we had to do. So finally, I learned the drill. And I got to the point that I had a team that had won 5 in a row, and we had our system down, and everybody did their jobs. And so one of the parents came out, and he said, Donald, at the practice, he said, Donald, I'd like to run some plays through my child. And how many minutes do I have?
You're fine.
Okay. Anyway, he said, I'd like to run some plays tonight at practice. I said, not a problem. I'd like to run some plays. I said, not a problem. So the parent ran the plays, ran them all through his son. We came to the game. He said, I'd like to try my hand at coaching. I said, no problem. So he began coaching. He coached the children until the 3rd quarter. We were down 8-20. He came to me and he said, I'm sitting down, I sat down across my leg, didn't say a word. Didn't say a word at halftime, just crossed my leg and sat there. And all while he's coaching, I'm not saying a word. He'd look at me, I pointed to him. Okay? So in the 3rd quarter, he came in, he said, Donald, I'd hate for these guys to lose on my account. I'm thinking, whose account you want to lose on? And he said, would you take over and see if you can get us back in the game? I said, well, let me see. What was I doing when you were coaching? He said, you were just sitting there quiet, not saying anything, but cheering. I said, what were you doing when we were winning? He said, well, I was over in the stand, and I was cheering. I said, if you make both of those things happen, I'll see what I can do. So he went over to the stand, brought my guys together, said, look at me, look at my favorite saying, look at my nose, not the clock. I'm going to tell you what's going on. You look at my nose, you follow me, we're doing well. My team, remember my team defense, we got back in the game, we lost that game, 20-24. We would have beat the snot out of them. So in the playoffs, we beat them, and that was the only game we lost. But after that, nobody wanted to come and interrupt. So my final year with CAA, I went undefeated as a basketball coach and undefeated as a soccer coach for my first time coaching soccer. And parents would always tell me, Donald, you ought to start a camp. I said, what kind of camp? You ought to start a basketball camp. And this one lady would be on my nerves. She had some of those scrub kids, and I'm thinking, why would I want to do that? And so she kept on, and just wanted to keep on. And I said, in 2002, before the season was over, I said, look, I'm going to stop there. If I start a basketball camp, God will have to speak to me all the way. I said, what you say? Because in April of 2002, I slept with a pad by my bed. I was waking at like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I had these ideas running through my head of how to do a basketball camp. And I began writing. I wrote 6 pages. Rasheed, let somebody else do that, man. Okay? Let the whole team do it. You don't have to do it by yourself, okay? All right. Anyway, so I wrote in that, I wrote a menu. See, I've never been to a basketball camp. I wrote a menu. I wrote that we were going to do more than basketball because when I went out for basketball in high school, I found out about Nate Tiny Archibald was MVP. That's how old I am. I had been an MVP, I think in 63 or 68, but not that year. Prior, I'd been MVP. And he was on like 6'3", but he was MVP. And he said there are 300 basketball players in the nation, pro players, about 300. He said, but there's about 300 million people in this nation. He said, in order to be a pro basketball player, you have to line a million people at random and beat them all. So those guys are quite an athlete. And so I wrote all this down, including the menu. So here we come. We were ready for camp, so I went out and I did chicken dinners and fish fries. We should have a picture of a fire at Dick's Sporting Goods. We was out there cooking hamburgers and stuff, and the wind got under that grill, and the flames shot up higher than Dick's Sporting Goods. We were right there at their building and using that space. There used to be a space between Dick's Sporting Goods and whatever else came up. We were right in there. The flames shot up, and I was inside the store talking to the manager. Somebody, the lady took off running, and she turned the corner. She said, "There's a fire." She turned the corner, and she slid like home plate. And she turned the corner, and she slid, and she was heading back. Somebody had to call the ambulance or something, And so I run outside, I look at these flames, and I said, "Now, maybe selling is not for me." And so we had a car wash, and we had secured this particular location that we were going to have the camp. So, and I'm talking to you about, what I want to talk to you about is I believe that God was in. That's the thing of what I'm about to tell you. Anyway, so we had this car wash, made a little money, and then somebody came, there was an event at CDCC. You guys just have like in the spring, you have some children's event or something. You know what I'm talking about. And so I decided, they gave me a spot there, and so I said, I'll advertise for campus. I advertised for campus, 30 campuses. Said 30 people said they were going to show up. So the newspaper came back and got a wind of that. They liked the idea, they published a story about us in the newspaper. And so we were ready to start camp. So you don't have to do that. Anyway, so they published a story about us in the camp saying we had 30 campers, and the fee was $75 per camper, or see Coach Hicks if there's a problem. Scholarships are available. I never was going to have a camp where only rich kids who already had camps come to a camp. I never wanted to have a camp that only jocks could prosper at camp. Okay, there are lots of other folks who do that a whole lot better than I wanted a camp that would encourage math, reading, science, technology, engineering, and those kinds of things. I wanted to be a refresher for your schoolwork and make learning fun. Basketball, pull them in, cloud their hair, teach them these other things. One of the things that we teach yes sir, no sir, thank you, please, hands up, press down, those kind of things, you learn, but you see the next generation got lost on it. So I had a meeting on the Sunday with my crew at church. The pastor of the church came out and he said, Donald, I thought you having a camp, it was a good idea. He said, my son's having emergency surgery, and the women's board is inside that wall. I got to go to my son in the hospital, but the women's board inside that wall, and they're loaded for bear. Good luck. And so I walked into the church, and all I took was my checkbook. I walked into the church, and they told me, they said, we noticed that you had a newspaper article that said you signed up 70 campers. Well, 70 campers at $75, 30 campers, $75 a camper. That's a little bit over $2,000. Where's our cut? I said, you're right, it does say 30 campers, $75 cut a camper. But it also says that if you needed a scholarship, see me. I said, that newspaper article says 30 folks signed up to show an interest in being a part of the camp. It didn't say how many paid. I said, of those 30, none has paid. Okay, I haven't seen them since then. None paid, but I have raised $475. I have my checkbook. I'll sign the check, and you can have as much as you want, how much you want. And she said, no, I guess we would not. And so we had camp there that year. And that was one thing that, a change of heart. Now, remember I had written the menu of what we were going to have. So we had Monday, we had hamburgers, hot dogs. Tuesday, we had, I don't remember what, chicken or something. No, we didn't have chicken. We had pizza or something for Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, I had written down that we were going to have chicken. So on Wednesday morning, remember I told the parents, don't bring any food, don't let the kids bring any food. I got this. I'm going to feed them, they'll eat at camp. So Wednesday morning, I'm sitting on the bench outside the gymnasium. I hadn't, and I'm talking to the Lord. I said, Lord, we don't have any chicken. The last time I saw chicken, it was frozen. And one of your pastors, one of your so-called pastors, was the person who told me that I had chicken coming. It was frozen when I saw it last. The man won't call me back now. He has kids scheduled to come to camp. In camp, been here 2 days. They'll pay the thing, but the chicken. And if I had it, even if I had it now, I couldn't unthaw it and cook it. I said, Lord, you're gonna get a bad reputation. You really are. I'm gonna tell everybody. They're gonna ask me where the food. And I thought I heard from the Lord. I took a can. I thought, but I'm telling you, said, and you're gonna get a bad reputation. And I'm sitting there and holding on and I say, I'm mad because God let me down. You know, sitting on that bench. A little while later, Pastor Smith, he used to be pastor of Assembly of God Church on Section House Road. Lovely brother's dead now. They came through the door, and he had 8 long children in his car. He was a small car. They got out of the car, looked like a circus act. He comes in. He says, no, I don't know these kids love this camp. He says, but none of them can make a basket, but they still love this camp. You know, they're having the time of their life. He said, what are y'all having today? I said, we're having chicken today, Pastor. I'm surly. I'm straight in chicken today, Pastor. He goes on in. He comes back out. He says, none of these kids paid anything. Their folk don't have anything to pay. But I have a friend that owns a Japanese restaurant. Do you think that they would mind very much if I could buy Japanese chicken for y'all today? Now, so I can't let him know that I have no food for the children. So I'm sitting on the bench, lit on the inside, saying, Pastor, I don't think anybody would mind very much if we had Japanese chicken today. Before his door closed, I was in the gym. Dang, we got Japanese chicken today. That man brought back Japanese chicken. We had 57 campers and about 20 volunteers. All the campers got belly full for all kinds of Japanese chicken. The staff took Japanese chicken home. I ate Japanese chicken 2 weeks after the camp. Okay? So God did not let us down. Okay? And so what I want to say about all this is God has been faithful that we've had, this is our 20th year of camp. This will be our 23rd camp. We've had, we did a camp in 54th, Tennessee. We were invited to do a camp there in 54th, Tennessee. And We're the only outside group that they've ever let in at any time. Okay, and they have a new facility there that's a children's library, recreation, swimming pool, and a couple of gymnasiums and all that in one. They invited us there to do a camp, and we did that I think in 2007. Okay, and Dolly Parton actually gave us a donation, and the newspaper captured that. But so this camp, the best thing about this camp is we changed the lives of this camp. We have had, you saw a newspaper article on last Thursday. There was a little guy in the paper. That little guy was a pistol at camp, and we just kept working with him. I mean, he was something else. But we kept working with him. That little guy changed in the course of 1 week. As a matter of fact, after the camp was over, his mom, I think how special that little guy was. We were teaching him to dribble the ball through his legs, back through his legs, and shoot. One dribble it, you know, one pass, and shoot. So in the game, they passed him the ball. He was in the corner. He dribbled it like this. He lifted up his legs and he shot. I'm thinking, he was like a dog taking the lead. You know, the gym was cracked up. But the faithfulness of God, we have never left camp owing money. Okay? We've never left camp owing money. We have a good reputation. Our reputation is wherever we did camp, that when we left the facility, it was better than they found it. This is our third facility. I won't take the location of any other facility, but that's been our reputation. We left the first location because they said, okay, Donald, we want you guys to stay, but if you stay, you got to let everybody come. And somebody has taken advantage of our hospitality. Okay, it's always a rent facility, and this was a well-known facility in this area. Then we had Classroom Connections right now. We did camp there for 9 years. And then God gave me a vision for Classroom Connection, and so we had to work out the logistics of that. And then we moved up here, so we've been here since, 8 years. So any questions?
I've just never known anybody who can blackmail God and get away with it.
Yeah. No, it was ignorance. I was trying to blackmail God. It was totally ignorance. And my thinking, when people talk to me about being a Christian and on the debate, my statement is, I wouldn't serve God that I had to defend. You know what I mean? I wouldn't. If I'm defending him, I'm God. You know?
Your story reminds me of the 2 fish and 5 loaves. This is the 2 chickens.
What's a Japanese chicken?
It's chicken from a Japanese restaurant. It's all different kinds. They had all different dishes from a Japanese restaurant. And so I'm calling it Japanese chicken because it was made at a Japanese restaurant. Yeah, that's all. I know you were salivating. I know you were salivating. Do you want some Japanese chicken?
How many campers do you have this week?
Almost of 60 as of a couple of days ago, as of yesterday. But we're going to have a whole lot more because they go home and they tell a relative. Okay, and this year we have more campers. We have campers bigger than anybody in this room. Okay, maybe me and you, but other than that, they are taller than we are. Okay, this year we have more. Oh, Steve, ask Steve. Okay, we have more campers this year, 6 to 12. We have males in here. Usually we have more females. 6 to 12, grade 6 to 12. This year we have probably 8 females, 6 to 12 grade, and the rest, you'll see, when they start serving, you'll find out they're males. And what we try to do is we try to teach character. We've had some incidents, another story, when we started the camp, we had Hickory one time had a basketball team, semi-pro team called Hickory Nuts. Anybody remember them? Well, they had a team in 2000. It was 2002. This was the first year of camp. So Hickory Nuts came to visit us. While Hickory Nuts is visiting us, the local television station was also visiting us. At the same time, local television station visiting us, Hickory Nuts visiting us. They want me to come in and interview with them. 5 cameras got up and ran away. 5 cameras. So my job is not to interview, my job is to locate those 5 cameras. So I called their parents. Those 5 children have gone away. I don't know where they may be. Okay? And I guess mission was those 5 children. I'm going to tell you the story of the bear. So the parents went and found those 5 children. They brought them back. Interviews going on. Television in there. Devil's trying to stop this. That's my belief. So I'm outside talking to the parents. The parents come back, loaded for bear, all wanting to shoot me because I have been mean to their children. And so they said, my son said, you've been mean to me. I said, okay. I said, what did he say that I did? He said, you tied some baling twine around his waist and stapled his pants shut. I said, okay. Somebody else? Well, the next one. Well, you tied baling twine around my waist. Baling twine around my waist. And you pass it when we are not looking. Okay? And they said, okay, what do you say to that? I said, your kid's telling the truth, believe me. I said, now, at least hear this story. Your son that I stapled his pants shut, I said, he came here, he had on a pair of pants that had no zipper on his pants. He had no belt on. He's running down the court like this to shoot. His stuff is flopping out. I said, I took him, his buddy right there, and another adult to the back. And I found a stapler, and I stapled to make a closure for his pants. I said, now, baling twine around his waist? Yes. I had 2 belts. That's all I had. I gave them those 2 guys so they could have their pants up. I have baling twine around my waist. I said, now, do I throw the ball, pass when they're locked, not looking? I'm teaching passing. Yes, I pass your ball, if you don't catch it, it's going to hit you on the head. You know, I'm teaching that. Other kids hit them on the head too, because they're not paying attention. I said, yes, they're telling the truth. The guy looked at his son and he said, he was the leader, he said, is that what happened? He said, yeah, but he don't have to be mean. He looked at that kid, he hit that kid behind the head like this. Behind the head. He said, you get back in there, he'll have you. So, believe your kid, he's telling the truth. And so that was, so I never did do that interview because the kid was running off. So, but a lot of things seem to have conspired to try to make it not happen the first year. But through subsequent years, we've grown to the point that we do breakfast, snack, and lunch. We hydrate. Probably 80% of the children that come have some help in coming to camp. Y'all think about it. We have right now 60 children. 60 children, and we're feeding breakfast. And you will get that breakfast in a little bit. And we feed them lunch. And we are teaching them with this class. We taught them how to build 3D models, and they built this 3D model and they had tab it down. They could see, 3D image, okay, on some of those big models we have back there. Over here, they're making kaleidoscopes, and they're learning the science of it. They're learning what light does, how light bounces, how it's being used. They're learning these things. They're gonna have to explain them. Bob was here last time we had inside camp, and he taught that time he taught magnetism, using magnets and how motors work and all. The year before that, he taught solar oven and They had to make a solar oven, they had to use a solar oven, they had to cook with the solar oven, and they had to eat what they cooked. And so this is not, for boys and girls, this is the real learning and what happened. Remember that little guy that was on the paper? He was a problem student. His mom came back to me when school started. She said, "Where were you?" I did not know the principal had a good list. I said, "What happened?" She said, "My son made student of the week on the principal's good list, and the principal called me in at the end of the month. He made student of the month." Prior to that, only time the principal called me was come get him because he was doing something wrong. This kid turned around. So we have children. This is the second generation now for some children. Okay, there are children coming. I have a friend who was a camper, and now she's actually a stripper out in Oklahoma. And my daughter, when the little girl came to camp, she just loved me. And so on Facebook, she decided that she's trying to friend me. And so I told her, I'm not going to friend her. I'm not going to friend her. I'm friend her. And, but my daughter said, if you don't, somebody will. So I befriended this girl. She had her 28th birthday, and I saw her 28th birthday. She had some clothes on some of the pictures. So, anyway, and she said, I'm 28 and I'm grown and I can do what I want. And I'm able to speak into their lives. I wrote her a note back. I said, you won't always be 28. One day, you may have a family that has to decide what mama was doing. And she said, oh, Coach Hicks, I just love you. I remember all those years, and this girl who was a stripper. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, which is the thing about him. Okay? So, it didn't get lost. I know that you may not be stripping, but whatever you're doing that God doesn't approve, God doesn't measure one sin versus another one. What my sin is, it may not be stripping, on pole, they might be stripping in the joint. Well, I don't know what means. Anyway, diggle. Okay? But whatever I'm doing, God says sin is sin. But this girl, she still is reachable. You hear me? And I still love her, so I prevented her from, I blocked her right now. I hope she doesn't know it. But around her birthday, I'll go back and see if she's written something.
Who was the pro basketball lady? Was it Stinson used to come to camp?
Yes, Andrea Stinson, who played for Charlotte Hornets. She's the first female, she's the first player on WNBA league, the women's league. The Sting, yes, the Hornets. She was the first player on draft. And I'm telling you, the girl's solid as a brick. She just remote control free throws. And she was showing the children how to do free throws and how to block out. And at that time, my back was not hurting, and I thought I could do something. No, I was strong. I was as bigger than she was, but she had the way. She knew what she was doing. She could block out, and you couldn't get to the basket. And she had the defense. And she was one of our coaches for years.
She cleared a lot of young men's vision, because cleared the stereotype out of their vision.
Yes, and that convinced folks that maybe, basketball needs to be a backup plan, there will be breakfast if you
I've got to go do a suitcase run.
Godspeed, love you, thanks for coming. But this year, we have a young lady there who's an art teacher. We have another lady that's a home ec teacher. These are volunteers. Oftentimes, and many of our volunteers are in the public school system. And we have award-winning teachers who work here, been here for years. We have in the kitchen, we have a lady that's a graduate of culinary school. And she's a great cook. We have 3 other people in that school in the kitchen. They're head cooks and they're graduates. great cook. Okay, really, she can do anything. But the other three, the one, I have a birthday coming up next week. You're not going to have any. She's going to bake me a German chocolate cake. She bakes Dana her German chocolate
Why
cake.
tell us if we cannot?
Salivate. Anyway, that's what's going to happen. So I just, that's who is prepared with the prayer. So we're prepared with the prayer in the process right now. Any other questions?
Thank you. I have a question. Last year, I know you didn't have the full camp,
Yes.
and you had the giveaway on that Friday. Do you do something like that every year? Or?
Every year we have a list of, we ask different people to come and share at camp. In the last few years, we've asked Steve and his partner, Chief, what was that? Okay, y'all do it. Anyway, we've asked him to come and teach our campers what to do when you're stopped by the police. There's a way to keep them to go home, and we want our children to know. And they've been here for the last few years doing that. Every camp, at the end of camp, we give every child a bag of school supplies and a t-shirt, and that Friday night they're going to have a game. So you can go to a class, you go to the gym, you go to a class, you go to the gym, you eat, okay? Then afternoon is all in the gym. You have a game coming up Friday night that grades 1 through 12 going to play in, and you're going to match up evenly and play that game. So you got to learn how to help somebody, how to coach somebody, how to teach somebody, how to make this go if you plan to win, because what we offer is bragging rights. And if it's red versus blue, if you go on the red team, you was on the blue team, and the blue team won 42-36, he's your buddy, you're going to call him up from time to time during the year, and you're going to say, hey, yeah, 42-36. He'll know what you mean, okay? And so that's what's going to happen. Now, any other questions?
No, sir. Thank you so much.
Last year I did have the law enforcement SWAT team, they call them STAR team, Hickory Police, Newton Police, Criminal Police, Sheriff Department. Last year on Friday, I asked them to come and help me give out school bags, school supplies, t-shirt, prizes, 64 prizes given out to children. We do this every camp. On the stage, you see 2 full-size basketball goals, and in the back, you see bags of school stuff for the school supplies, and they're in the back room and stuff. So we asked law enforcement last year. We had campers and their families do a drive-through out here, so that, and law enforcement gave them pizza and water and drink as they drove past. And I thought that our law enforcement needed good press last year, and so we made certain that the newspaper was out and to give a chance for that to be seen. Yes, some law enforcement, as evidenced by cameras, have been knuckleheads. They've had a history of being a knucklehead, but others have been doing their job and protecting the community, and we want to help salvage their reputation. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
You have 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Well, all right. Let's see. First of all, my information might be near this. We're talking about forming a finance committee. I'd like to make today if possible. The second thing is the invoices for the first quarter 22 will be coming out soon. And they'll look like the ones from the prior years after the first quarter are going to change somewhat. And I'd like to propose that we offer a $10 discount for anybody paying the entire year. It's not really a cost to the treasurer because it will save that much money in sending out the second notice, third notice, and so forth. So that's a proposal. As far as having lackey accounting, I called last week and they said that they would not be, I got a recording, so they would not be back till after the 4th. So I plan to call lackey this week and set that up. So back to the finance council. I think if we can we establish one today? I think that there's certain people that probably should be on it. And the
Probably ought to just make your recommendation and give the president a chance to have it.
Well, since we're so few in number, I think that might be a good email to send out to say that we discussed it. Here are the folks that we recommend. Who do you recommend to be on it?
Well, I think first of all, you should be on it. I think past treasurer should be on it. Past treasurer is not here anymore.
Right.
So Phil is the past treasurer, I guess. I mean,
Yes.
so he'd be the past, and then of course you'd be on the thing, and me, and then I don't know if you want, who else would you want on the thing? Oh, I'd like to see Rick on it. The reason for that is because Rick did the budgets and so.
Right. And I would say the president-elect should be on it too.
Okay.
Why don't you say that you'll have the committee formed, and if anybody, like we do with certain kinds of votes, like for, anyhow, if anybody has an objection, like for a new member, anybody has an objection, make it now, or by the next meeting, it'll be a standing committee.
You want to send that out?
I can do that.
Okay. Now, as far as the $10 discount, what does everybody think of that idea?
I'm fine.
That's fine.
That takes us from 260 to 250. So, and again, I don't think it's going to cost a trade. That's all I've got to give, unless you have questions. Oh, look, there is one more thing. The bank balances. I know this is done in assembly, but this is the balances that we added on July 1st. Our checking account, we had $14,474, and in our money market account, we got $10,000 and whatever, 6 cents or 8 cents, whatever it is again. So that's we got about 24.5. That's it. Thank you.
All right. Well, the things we think they do.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Bing!